Before you come to France, people will probably tell you one thing, that French people are rude. Mais c'est pas vrai. It's not true. I think France is a country that's built on these tiny little rituals and these small rules that nobody really explains to you. In this video, I want to go back to the basics and show you the everyday of etiquette en France, the small social habits that actually shape daily life here. Because once you understand them, France and French people actually make a lot more sense. Mais avant qu'on commence, je m'appelle Gabrielle. Ça fait 3 ans que je vis à Paris, dans cette ville que j'adore. J'adore partager la culture française and breaking down French culture, as well as discovering hidden gems à Paris et partout en France. Je voyage aussi. I also travel. You probably saw some of my travel videos. If these are topics that interest you in speaking also en anglais et en français for your comprehension, make sure to subscribe because a lot of you who watch these videos are not subscribed yet. Now, Parlons etiquette. Last week, I was at my boulangerie, the one that I go to every day to get my belle baguette. And I saw a tourist walk in and he just pointed in la vitre and he said, "Un croissant, please." Like, one croissant, please. That was when le boulanger, the baker, just stared at him. Not in a mean way, not annoyed, just waiting. Because in France, you cannot start with a request, no matter what you want, no matter if you're lost or you want directions or you want to buy something. You need to start with the interaction first. And the key, c'est très simple. The key is very simple. You start with a bonjour. I know it sounds dramatic that if you don't say this, you can't have the rest of what you want, mais c'est comme ça. You really can't just request something directly. You have to start with bonjour, and bien sûr, it's always nice to end with s'il vous plaît and merci. You can even say bonjour, excusez-moi, sorry, excuse me, et après tu commences ta phrase. But if you want to buy something, just say bonjour, un croissant s'il vous plaît. And usually the trick is to leave a little bit of a pause. So for example, you'll be like, bonjour, little pause, un croissant s'il vous plaît, rather than saying, bonjour, un croissant s'il vous plaît. You know, like rather than saying everything, it sounds less demanding, it sounds more patient. The next thing is about the smile rule or the neutral face. There's this cliché que les Français ne sourient jamais. Personnellement, moi j'ai grandi en Asie, I grew up in Asia, so I grew up in Thailand, the Philippines, c'est des pays où les gens ils adorent sourire, and also I did my studies in China and I feel like people also like to smile, mais c'est vrai qu'en France, il y a ce truc d'un visage neutre. And a neutral face is actually very normal. C'est très normal. Because en fait, en France, the smile has to feel real. So for example, I know many tourists who come to Paris or who come to France and they see that French people are not smiling at them. They're very rude, you know, they're mean. Mais pas du tout. You can have waiters or shopkeepers take orders or sell things to you without necessarily smiling because it's part of their job. And I feel like French people, we won't consider this as a negative, mean thing. So this rule is not don't smile in France, parce que je pense qu'un sourire est toujours sympa à voir. It's always really nice to have someone smile, to see someone smile in your day. Maybe not just in the middle of the street, parce que c'est un peu bizarre, it's a bit strange, but in general, it's nice to see someone smile. But the rule is something like, don't feel like you have to perform happiness for strangers. Be polite first and then smile if you really mean it. La bise. So la bise is the kisses. This is the one that a lot of my friends in Asia always ask me about. On me demande souvent sur la bise en France. Et en fait, je trouve qu'on fait moins la bise qu'avant. We do less the bise than we did before. Before COVID, c'était vraiment tout le monde. It was really everyone. Et après le Covid, avec l'hygiène, avec les masques, etc., we started to do la bise less, but it's still done. Et ce qui est très intéressant is that it depends on the region where you are. Par exemple, à Paris, c'est 2 fois la bise, so it's 2 times, but in certain regions, c'est 3 fois. Et c'est déjà arrivé que j'ai vu 4 fois, 4 times. It feels like a very long time. And I would say it's more often done by women, par les femmes, entre femmes, et les hommes un peu moins. Definitely, my French friends have told me qu'ils trouvent ça un peu bizarre that Like foreigners, internationals love to hug. Qu'ils aiment donner des câlins. And you know, I think hugs for French people are mostly for like special occasions. You know, like if someone is leaving, or if someone is at a big family event, or you haven't seen them in a long time. And if you're introduced to someone pour la première fois, for the first time, you can just say, you know, bonjour. Bonjour, Gabrielle, enchanté. It's simple, it's polite, it's very safe. Ooh, the hot topic in Paris, c'est le volume. So when I say the volume, I mean the volume of our voices. Because French people, I think in certain cultures, are more sensitive to other cultures. I was recently in Japan, et je sais que là-bas, c'est très silencieux. Everything is very quiet. So obviously French people are not that quiet. Leur sensibilité au son, they pay attention to voices and to sound. Not always, of course, you know, like Saturday evening by La Seine, and people love to do picnics and they love to talk loudly and they love to play music, so it depends on the environment. But in general, something that comes back a lot is that, yeah, there are certain tourists that are a bit too loud, especially in metros and restaurants, cafes, and there I would say would be certain areas where you should be quiet, like for example dans les bibliothèques, in libraries. And so c'est quelque chose qui revient assez souvent that I think annoys some certain Parisians. Dans un métro, and then there was a group of tourists that came in et ils parlaient assez fort, et du coup il y avait plein de personnes qui les regardaient. No French person came up to them and were saying to them that they're too loud, but you could feel that they were looking at them et qu'ils parlaient trop fort. And it's the same thing for brasseries. I remember there were some tourists that were speaking very loud about their own stories, about their summer plans, etc. Pas tout le monde veut savoir. And so there was a couple right next to them that actually moved tables, qui a carrément changé de table. So that's when you realize you need to be aware of your surroundings and of the volume that you bring into a space. Quick trick that is easy in an enclosed area is to kind of listen to the volume that is there and kind of adapt yourself to it, and just, you know, listen first and then match the volume to fit the room. Earlier I said that bonjour opens the interaction. What closes the interaction is definitely merci. Every culture, as long as you say merci, c'est le plus important. You know, if you were lost, if you asked for advice, if you bought something, il faut toujours dire merci. You know, the waiter brings you coffee, you say merci. You leave, you say merci, bonne journée. It can feel repetitive, but it's really important in every context. You know, even when the waiter's cleaning your table or something, or you're changing the dish, even if it's their job, c'est leur travail, c'est très important de tout le temps dire merci. Un compliment is like a small gift. So if you reject it too much, it becomes awkward. But if you say merci, it means I accept it. Bonjour to open, merci to close. That alone will save you from many cold French interactions. Pardon et excusez-moi. Paris is very crowded, surtout pendant la période d'été, especially in summer season. Le sud de la France, Paris, there are many big cities où il y a tellement de monde, so you're bound to bump into someone. Et qu'est-ce que tu dis? What do you say? So the word is pardon. You know, quick, simple, efficient. If you accidentally bump into someone dans le métro, you say pardon. If you step into someone's way that you're rushing, you say pardon. You don't need to add anything more or say a huge apology. You just say pardon. Excusez-moi, I would say, is a little heavier. You say it when you want someone's attention or when you're interrupting because you want to ask something. For example, excusez-moi, vous savez où est le métro? Next is the door rule. I didn't notice until I started to observe it in other countries that it was not always done, not often done. Mais c'est vrai qu'en France, on tient souvent la porte aux autres. We often open the doors to other people behind us, whether c'est au métro, c'est pour entrer dans un restaurant. All the time, you open the doors to people behind you. Et je trouve ça très respectueux, very, very respectful. I've seen a few people, like tourists that come and maybe they're not aware. They didn't do it, et c'est vraiment hyper important à faire. If someone is like just maybe 1 or 2 seconds behind or right behind, then definitely you're gonna open the door to them. Je dirais surtout au métro, especially in the metro where you have like these huge heavy metal doors. C'est toujours sympa que quelqu'un t'ouvre la porte, that someone waits for you 1 or 2 seconds avec la porte ouverte. And I would say this kind of like resumes French manners in general. They're like small gestures here and there and words of being polite. Et ça compte énormément, it counts a lot. These etiquette rules are not specific to France. They're done in other countries in Europe and also around the world. This is what I observed the most about Paris and what I realized that it's really, c'est la base, it's the base. Of course, I can make perhaps another video, a part 2, because there are so many more of these small gestures that we do day to day that's really integrated à la vie à la française, to French way of living, which if you would be interested, do let me know in the comments, parce que j'adore faire des vidéos bien sûr sur Paris, sur le voyage, mais j'aime aussi parler de l'étiquette, de la culture française, and things for you to have the best stay that you can in Paris or in France. So just remember that French rules are not necessarily stricter, they're really small things that you can do while you're here that makes French people appreciate that everyone is trying to adapt to what is being done here. Every interaction has a beginning, bonjour. Every intrusion or excuse me has un pardon. Every small service of recognition has un merci. Every room has its volume. If you have certain questions, perhaps of certain contexts that you're a little afraid of coming by in France, let me know in the comments and perhaps it could be for a future video, Ooh, look who wanted to join us. It's been a while since we've seen you. Ça fait un moment. So don't worry if French people are not always having a big smile. It doesn't mean that they hate you. Just remember to say these small words and pay attention to how you are in a space, in a country that you don't know. C'est toujours très important. I really hope you enjoyed today's video and I can't wait to share next week's video with you. So make sure to subscribe so I can see you there. For now, me and Mei we're gonna say merci beaucoup et à bientôt!